Beneath the constant noise of New York City, under the yellow taxis honking their horns, the footsteps of millions of people rushing across sidewalks, and the endless hum of a city that never sleeps, lies another world entirely. It is a world hidden from sight, a network of passageways, chambers, and tunnels that weave under Manhattan and its neighboring boroughs, like veins under skin. Some of these tunnels are well documented, designed for subways and infrastructure. Others are long forgotten, sealed off, or only whispered about in stories passed down through generations. Some carry the secrets of presidents, others the whispers of gangsters, and some even the memories of whole communities who once lived underground. New York City above ground is dazzling and loud, but beneath its surface is a city of shadows, mystery, and untold history. The average New Yorker may walk to work every day without realizing that just beneath their shoes is an abandoned tunnel built more than a century ago. Millions of tourists pass through Times Square without knowing that deep under the glowing billboards lies a forgotten station. To most people, the underground of New York begins and ends with the subway, one of the largest rapid transit systems in the world. But the subway is only part of the story. What lies beyond the regular train tunnels are secret passageways designed for presidents, abandoned lines left to decay, smuggling tunnels once used by bootleggers, and even vast vaults holding unimaginable wealth. This hidden world is both real and mythical, blending hard facts with enduring legends. And to understand New York fully, you must look not just at the skyline above, but the labyrinth below. One of the most famous secret tunnels lies under Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central itself is a marvel, one of the busiest train stations in the world, filled with people at all hours of the day. But most commuters have no idea that beneath the bustle of the main concourse lies a hidden platform known as Track 61. This platform is unlike any other in New York because it was never meant for the public. It was built in the 1930s, and its purpose was secrecy. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who struggled with polio and used a wheelchair, wanted to move in and out of the city without drawing attention. Track 61 provided him exactly that. A special train car could pull into the platform, and from there, Roosevelt could use a private elevator that led directly into the Waldorf Astoria hotel above. Few ever saw him arrive or leave. Even decades later, the platform remains intact, though closed to the public, a quiet relic of a time when the nation's leader needed an escape route hidden under the city's feet. It is one of those details that makes you realize how power and secrecy often intersect in unexpected ways. But Roosevelt's hidden platform isn't the only underground marvel. One of the most beautiful but forgotten places beneath New York is the old City Hall subway station. When the subway first opened in 1904, the City Hall station was its crown jewel. Designed with elegance in mind, the station had vaulted ceilings, chandeliers, and glass skylights that allowed natural light to stream in. It looked more like a European cathedral than a subway stop. But beauty couldn't make up for practicality. The station's curved tracks made it difficult to accommodate the longer trains that the system eventually needed. In 1945, it was closed to passengers, left behind as the city's transit system expanded. Today, the station still exists underground, and if you ride the Downtown 6 train to its last stop and stay on board as it turns around, you can catch a fleeting glimpse of this ghost station, frozen in time. The city's underground also holds darker stories. During Prohibition in the 1920s, when alcohol was banned across the United States, New York became a center of illegal activity. Speakeasies popped up all over the city, and bootleggers needed ways to move alcohol without being caught. Tunnels under Chinatown and Lower Manhattan became perfect smuggling routes. Basements of bars connected to each other through hidden passageways, and gangsters used these underground channels to move barrels of liquor in secret. Lucky Luciano, one of the most notorious crime bosses of the era, is rumored to have used these tunnels to outsmart the police. Imagine standing in a quiet basement in Chinatown and knowing that directly beneath your feet, gangsters once carried contraband through shadowy passageways, laughing as they evaded the law. War also left its mark on New York's underground. During World War II, the Brooklyn Navy Yard was one of the most important shipbuilding facilities in the country. Beneath it, tunnels and chambers were constructed to allow secure movement of supplies and to protect operations from potential attacks. These military tunnels were heavily guarded, and while many have since been sealed, their stories remain. Walking above the Navy Yard today, surrounded by modern industry. It's easy to forget that deep underground, history was unfolding in a world of secrecy and urgency, where every tunnel carried the weight of war. But not all tunnels belong to the powerful. Some belong to the forgotten. In the 1980s and 1990s, journalists began to document what they called the Mole people, communities of homeless individuals who built lives for themselves in abandoned subway tunnels. These were not just makeshift shelters, but full underground villages, with electricity tapped from the grid, kitchens, bedrooms, and even schools. For the people who lived there, the tunnels offered a kind of freedom and protection from the dangers of the streets above. While the city has since cleared many of these communities, the memory of the Mole people lingers. A reminder that New York's underground has always been a place of survival as much as secrecy. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York, located on Liberty Street in Manhattan, also holds one of the most famous underground mysteries. Beneath its fortress-like building lies a vault said to contain more than 6,000 tons of gold, belonging to governments and central banks from around the world. This isn't myth, it's fact. The vault sits nearly 80 feet below street level, deeper than the subway lines, protected by thick steel doors and layers of security. Some say it is the most secure place in the city. Standing outside the building, you'd never know that beneath your feet lies more gold than almost anywhere else on Earth. Of course, New York's underground has inspired myths and legends as well. There are whispers of tunnels connecting City Hall to police headquarters, meant to serve as escape routes for mayors in times of crisis. Some claim secret subway lines exist, built for the wealthy elite to move around unseen. Others tell stories of government bunkers under the city, ready to be used in case of nuclear war. While many of these stories remain unproven, the very existence of so many real tunnels makes them believable. After all, if Roosevelt could have his own secret train platform, who's to say other hidden routes don't exist? What's most remarkable about New York's underground is how layered it is. T-City wasn't built all at once. It grew over centuries. Each era added new tunnels, new passageways, new secrets. Some were abandoned as they became obsolete, but they were never erased. They remained beneath the surface, stacked one on top of another, like a hidden archive of the city's history. Walk down Broadway today and you're not just walking over one street. You're walking over centuries of infrastructure layered deep into the earth. There's something poetic about this. Above ground, New York is about ambition, energy, and visibility. Skyscrapers stretch to the sky, billboards blaze in neon, and the city puts itself on display to the world. But below ground, it's about secrecy, shadow, and endurance. It's a place where presidents could move unseen, where gangsters smuggled liquor, where soldiers prepared for war, and where forgotten people built hidden lives. The underground tells the other half of New York's story, the part that doesn't shine but still matters. So the next time you find yourself standing on a crowded sidewalk in Manhattan, or waiting on a subway platform, pause for a moment. Imagine the world just a few feet below. Imagine Roosevelt's secret train car rolling quietly into track 61. Imagine chandeliers glowing in the deserted City Hall station. Imagine barrels of whiskey rolling through Chinatown tunnels in the dead of night. Imagine families living in abandoned passageways, carving out a life in darkness. Imagine stacks of gold lying in vaults that most will never see. That's New York too, not the city of lights above ground, but the city of shadows below. New York is often called the greatest city in the world, but to truly understand it, you have to look both up and down. The skyline tells one story, but the tunnels tell another. One is about dreams reaching for the sky. The other is about secrets buried deep in the earth. Together, they make New York what it is. A city of contradictions, of myths and realities, of light and shadow. And that's why the underground tunnels of New York remain one of its greatest untold stories.